What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Appreciate Greatness. Today, we're going to be doing a full first round mock. However, for this one, it's going to be all about fit. So, any pick I see, I'm going to pick the best player fit or the best team fit, other than, thinking about best player available or kind of what I would do. We're going to go all with just fit and who fits the best for that certain team at that certain pick. Starting off at the 1-1, number one pick, Wizards. I think it's obviously the best fit is Cam Boozer. Obviously, they don't have the number one option, the guy, yet, but when you look at this team, you look at Keyshawn George, you see Trey Johnson, you see Alex Sarr. They don't really have a true playmaker. Cam Boozer is that. Cam Boozer is going to fit perfectly alongside Alex Sarr. Great rebounder, makes up for a little bit of the lack of size, physical, big muscle size that Alex Sarr doesn't have, and can also stretch the floor and keeps it to where you can still run your five out or whatever you want. And Cam Boozer will have a lot of space to post up and do stuff like that. And I think that the Wizards, just because of that, all of those factors grouped together, makes Cam Boozer and the Wizards just a perfect, match. At the number two pick, the Jazz, I think they need a guard, and I think they need another shooter. I actually see Darren Peterson as more of a point guard still. I think he passes much better than what he got to show at college, just because he was on a really, really, really bad Kansas team. Offensively, Kansas team. Defensively, they were a little better. But he'll bring some defense to the backcourt of Keontae George and himself. Obviously, Keontae George, not much of a defender, but Keontae, if the playmaking for Darren Peterson isn't real, Keontae can make up for that. And then you have all that size around him, all that shooting around him in Lowry, Taylor Hendricks, Jaren Jackson. Taylor Hendricks got traded. I don't know why I even said that. I don't even know. Lowry, Jaren Jackson, and then you have Walker Kessler at the 5. So it's a big team and it's a fun team, and that's why I think Darren Peterson fits best here. And then AJ to the Grizzlies. I think this is like the perfect 3 in my opinion. AJ being able to go to a Grizzlies team that's really young, really not built out yet. Like if you look at the Jazz, you pretty much have your pieces ready to make a run. Wizards, same kind of thing with Trae Young and Trey Johnson, and even AD now. Who knows what AD is? I just kind of project Cam Boozer to fit in there, not thinking about him. The Bulls, they get new GM. He's all about slap, size, length, athleticism, and what's the last one? I'm going to kick myself. What's the last one? Bulls slap acronym. Physicality. And, maybe Caleb Wilson doesn't fit the last one super well, but I think he does-ish. But this is a slap athlete right here. Size, length, athleticism, physicality. Caleb Wilson, it's perfect. It's a match made in heaven. At 5, I still love Ade Mara to the Clippers. You have Darius Garland already, who is a great pick-and-roll point guard. Just super fundamental, can get Ade easy ones, but also Ade can run a little bit of that hub. Also a good screening for a guy like Kawhi, or playing the hub for a guy like Kawhi and Ben Mathurin. So I still think that Ade Mara is the perfect fit for the Clippers. Also, you obviously have a small guard at the forefront in Darius Garland, and Ben Mathurin, if they even bring him back, is also still there. So I think that having a rim protector like Ade Mara is just perfect, fits really well. At 6, I have the Nets going Mikal Brown Jr. I just think his ball dominance as a playmaker, his ability to even slide over and play the 2 if you want Nolan Traore to continue to run the 1, and just his overall shot making. I think it's all a perfect storm for the Nets. It feels like they're building a type of team that everyone can dribble past, and for the most part shoot. So I think Mikael Brown fits really, really perfectly into that. At 7, it's a match made in heaven at this point. Darius Acuff Jr. to the Kings. They need something fun and exciting, and offensively, Darius Acuff Jr. is one of the more fun, if not the most fun and exciting players in the entire draft. He just comes with his qualms, right? His defensive ability is horrendous, worse than I've ever seen from a guard, and so he comes with the weaknesses. At 8 for the Hawks, I have LeBaron Philon Jr. I feel like it's the perfect storm of a guy who's really smooth, can play make, but also can make his own shots. Can find guys, but also likes to run a lot. And I think this is a Hawks team when you look at Kuminga, Jalen Johnson. I don't know why I named Kuminga first. Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, who can turnover create, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Just a conglomerate of guys who really like to get out and go. And I think LeBaron Philon, playing under Nate Oates in college, it fits so perfectly. At 9, I have Keaton Wagler. I like his ability to play off ball and allow Coop to be still a guy with the ball in his hands, making plays and playmaking and using his plus passing ability. And Wagler can play off ball of that, but can also have the ball in his hands a little bit. And I think this Mavs spot fits better than maybe the Bucks, just because he's going to be able to play with a Derek Lively or a Daniel Gafford pretty much the entire season, the entire game. One of them, hopefully, if they're healthy, is going to be on the floor. And Wagler, I don't project him to be able to get by defenders as easily. I still think just because of how smooth he is, he'll be able to get by defenders. But having those two really good screeners, really good lob threats, will really help him open it up for him. And for that reason, I was going to go Kingston Flemings. However, I think just at 10, Flemings has fallen. We're not going to, we're not going to just take like Nate Ahmet or someone here. I think Flemings at 10 to the Bucks would fit well. He gives you a true point guard option, a guy who kind of mixes up the play style between him and Ryan Rollins. Rollins, a lot more finesse, a little bit slower as a player. Shoots a ton of threes, can really shoot the three off the dribble, whatever. And Kingston Flemings is a guy who teleports to the rim, gets downhill, causes some chaos, can run the pick and roll a little bit. So I think him to the Bucks fits really well. At 11 to the Warriors, I think the Axel is perfect. He allows you to, you still have Steve Kerr for 2 more years. He allows you to immediately have a great role player, but also run that small ball that you love to run, but also get another really high field player and playmaker out there alongside Steph. Draymond, obviously, who knows what's going to happen with Jimmy at this point, but I think this is a near perfect complementary piece for Yaxel and for the Warriors. I'm trying to find my OBS recording on this. All right. Next up, we have the Thunder at 12. And for them, obviously no Yaxel, but I think Jaden Quaintance is a perfect fit for them. Brings more size, more rebounding, and just insane defensive versatility to a team who loves defensive versatility, loves the defensive side of the ball. I think that he's going to be able to, he can guard 1 through 5, can guard in the pick and roll, can switch off anything. Like, he is unreal as a defender. Offensively, a lot to be desired, but defensively, it's a scary sight. At 13, Braden Burries to the Heat. Burries is just that perfect, like, Heat-y player. It just feels right. The Arizona to Heat thing, I feel like there's something there with that. But also, he can really shoot it, play in transition. Is that perfect complementary piece to whatever they have going on. And if it gets traded for Giannis, whatever. Or if they trade for Giannis, don't have to give up pick 13, then you have Burries there already. But I think Burries is just such a Heat fit. The way he defends and runs the floor again and shoots the rock. At 14 to the Hornets, I have them going with Morez Johnson Jr. I think Morez Johnson, and in the playoffs we saw the Hornets kind of just get out-physicaled and out rebounded, and they need some physicality, some defense, some tenacity, and I think Moriah Johnson brings all of that. Great defender, great rebounder, going to be super physical, and even may provide you some stretching of the floor, which could be awesome. And Moussa Diabate is only 6'9", 6'8", so that he'll run your center and be another option there. At 15, I have the Bulls taking, honestly, 3 people make sense to me for fit-wise, slap-wise. Ament, Carr, Swain. I'm going to go Cam Carr. Just add some shooting to the core that they have going on. I almost said Bottas. I've been watching too much F1. Buzelis, now Caleb Wilson. Leonard Miller doesn't really stop you from making a pick. Noah Singh doesn't really stop you from making a pick. But those two also have just insanely high potential. I mean, Leonard Miller's a great basketball player. Noah Singh could very easily get there in the near future. So I think Carr is a really, really great fit. Now, the Grizzlies, this is where I've had a little bit of trouble trying to figure out the fit here. But I do think I'm going to end up going Nate Ament. And the reason for this, keep Ament in Tennessee, but also I think he's a better shooter than what he got to show at Tennessee. Not off the move or anything, but I do think his added muscle and weight kind of threw off his game a little bit in that regard. And Ament is, one of those guys who, if you have a team like the Grizzlies do, I mean, they could easily be one of the worst in basketball next year. And I think Ament can, you can try and just develop him. And I feel like this is his perfect landing spot. I feel like the Grizzlies could maybe make something happen here. 17 to the Thunder. I'm taking Bennett Sturts. Sturts is just a guy who suppresses turnovers, can play make, can play with and without the ball in his hands. He's a pretty average defender, but I think offensively can come off screens and shoot, really good movement shooter, can handle the ball a little bit, can pass really well, can play on or off ball, whatever you need him to do, and he doesn't turn it over. Seems like a perfect storm for the Thunder and what they have going on. At 18 to the Hornets, I have Dalen Swain, just a more length, more size, and a guy who can really get downhill and get paint touches. And that's something that they kind of miss at times. When you have LaMelo and Con Knipple and Brandon Miller, guys who are heavy jump shooters, they kind of miss that ability to get down in the paint and kick out. And I think Dalen Swain is the perfect guy here. At 19, I think Sturts would be perfect for the Raptors. I think it's going to end up being one of a Corey or Anderson. I'm going to go Christian Anderson here. An elite shooter, can play on or off the ball, but mostly on ball, and can pass the rock as well. But just the shooting feel, he's elite from everywhere. Good ball handler, and I think it just fits in perfectly with the size. I mean, there's a lot of size around him, a lot of great defense around him, so you can hide him a little bit, and you just have this really, really insane offensive guard. At 20 to the Spurs, this feels like the most obvious Allen Graves landing spot in this draft. Graves is a guy who blocked a shot a game, stole two balls a game, possessions, I guess, stole 2 possessions a game, can shoot the ball a little bit, fouls a lot, but I think next to Wemby that gets a little, that won't be as personified. And is that the word I'm looking for? Personified? I don't think so. It won't be as much of a concern. There we go. But Graves, really good feel, can pass it a little bit, but mostly stretches the floor, really rebounds well, and kind of can be your Keldon Johnson replacement because he stinks, man. Oh my gosh. 21 to the Pistons. I have Ibuka Okori going here. Okori, and I think this is late. I mean, I think Okori, Anderson, I think all of these guards could literally be top 10. Like, they're all so unreal. But to me, Okori provides you a guy who can get downhill, get in the paint, drive and kick, but also allows you to play Cade off ball, gives you another ball handler in the near future. And Okori, I think, is going to be close to NBA ready just because of his speed, very Maxey-like. I think by year 2, he's going to really be able to take off. as a player. 22 to the Sixers. This feels like the perfect fit for me. He's 22 on my board. He's 22 on ESPN's board. He's going 22 in the mock. Gives you some size up front, especially when Joel goes down. And I think Sinak is really raw still, but he has a chance to play as soon as this year, as well as just being able to stretch the floor a little bit. Doesn't block shots well, but rebounds really well and gives you some athleticism in that front court alongside Joel, who has definitely lost some of that in his later years. At 23 to the Hawks, I have Hans Steinbeck. I think he's fallen a lot in this draft, and it's possible he could. There's going to be someone who falls, and Steinbeck could be a potential guy who does so. But the Hawks need a center. I think this is a really great center to get, a high upside swing, but also a guy who is immediately going to come into the NBA and be one of the best rebounders around, one of the best, one of the most athletic centers in the NBA. So straight line athlete, at least straight line athletic centers in the NBA. So I really like this pick for them. At 24, we're going to go Henri Veesaar here. I'm high on Henri Veesaar, and he is just a perfect fit for the Knicks to have a guy alongside Cat who's still 7 foot, but Veesaar can really pass it. He ran a lot of pick and roll as the ball handler with Caleb Wilson this year. Can run the hub in the Mike Brown offense, can make the decisions out of the Mike Brown offense, can stretch the floor a little bit, 3 attempts a game. I think he shot 42% or something from 3. So this is a really, really great center and a great piece for the Knicks if they pick here. Now, 25 to the Lakers. This is a really interesting spot because I could go Josh Jefferson, Taurus Reed, Zuby Ejiofor. And now that I think about it, I know I go Josh Jefferson. I wrote down Josh Jefferson. But you have Luka. You don't really need to hub too much with Luka and Braun probably coming back. And maybe you go with the super uber athlete, good passer, Baba Miller, because you'll have Luka creating those advantages. Baba Miller can, kind of play off that. I think they need big. I think they need more rebounding, more physicality inside. And I think that's Taurus Reed or Josh Jefferson. Let's go Taurus Reed. Taurus Reed can, block shots on the interior, make plays there, as well as just being a dog inside, man. Being a dog. But he's also a good passer out of the post. So 26 to the Nuggets. I think that this is the perfect Kobe Pete spot if one ever did exist. Pete is not, I'm not super high on him at all, but I do think that alongside Jokic being that elite athlete, the Nuggets don't have many elite athletes. He can guard up and down the scale as a defender, and I think this just gives them some more athleticism, some more fun defensive ability. 27 to the Celtics. Give me Karim Lopez. I think Lopez is a Celtics-y player. If I have to put it in a way, he's a Joe Mazzulla player. Kind of does everything well. Doesn't do anything. Well, kind of does everything solid. Doesn't do anything like super well. But can shoot. Has good passing feel. Has good defensive feel. And I just think it's a really good fit. Reminds me a lot of the Hugo Gonzalez pick of last year. At 28 to the Timberwolves. I think there's 2 directions you can go. I think you go Josh Jefferson, 3 directions, Malik Thomas or Isaiah Evans. I think all 3 of those guys are great shooters who can. Marion Dickerson is 45th in this. Are we serious right now? Anyway, I'm going to go Isaiah Evans. I think Evans brings more shooting, can kind of fill that role of Dante DiVincenzo immediately. I think he's a good enough shooter to do so. A little skinny, going to struggle a little defensively. Definitely an Isaiah Joe-like player, but I think it fits really well for them. At 29, I really like this as the Sergio Delaria spot. Delaria brings you some high field playmaking. I think he's going to be able to play immediately. I'm super high on Delaria, up in my teens in my big board. But I think this is a really good landing spot for him. He can shoot it a little bit and just brings you that that passing, but on another wing. Lord knows they don't have many long wings, and Delaria's 6'6" with a 6'8" wingspan can definitely fill in there. At the 30th pick and the last pick of this mock draft, I think the Mavs will go with Malik Thomas here. Really good shooter. Can play a little bit of defense in terms of getting in passing lane and stuff like that. But just taking a younger guy who has some potential as a off-ball scorer, and a really good one in Malik Thomas. And that is my first round fit mock draft. Let me make myself bigger, maybe. Boom. Look at that. My hair's a mess. I'm getting a haircut Tuesday. But I think that's a couple more videos y'all gotta see me like this. But I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I gotta get to the White Sox game. Ohtani just hit a homer. Please leave a like and subscribe. I love doing all this stuff. So please, if you enjoy it, please consider liking and subscribing. Do it as my birthday gift. My birthday's coming around in a week. So, but I love y'all. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.